Magnificent. Timothy, nice to have you on. Welcome to the DMCC and to the community. Really great to have you join us. Yeah, guys, for anybody who doesn't manage to tune in live, this is Timothy Spiers. I'm saying that right, Spiers or Spies? Not sure how you pronounce it.
Spiers, not desperately fussy though.
Cool, Spies, there you go. Yeah, awesome. So Timothy's joining us today. I met Timothy, got in touch with us actually on one of our YouTube videos, left a comment, which was quite interesting and you know, was interesting to me because it was quite counter to what we, you know, the sort of the philosophy that we've had around content creation and or at least the conversations we've had with a lot of content creators over the last few years. And that was the one around well, I suppose setup and equipment and sort of what you need to have before you sort of go live. So before we start, Tim, do you want to just give us a quick rundown on, you know, so what's your background? I understand you run your own digital agency.
Right, yeah, sure. I mean, my background's always been in fashion photography. We had a large e-commerce studio. We ended up with 3,000 square foot in East London, which we wound down in the summer of 2019 due to building works and everything. And me and my partner were going in different directions. So I was much more interested in supporting my customers in other ways, you know, creating more creative content, more video content. I was much more interested in how it was being marketed and what they were doing with it. And there was a real disconnect there, them creating content with us and what they were doing with it afterwards. And I found it difficult to help them with that. And it's this kind of, they were using different agencies for different things, and the right hand not talking to the left hand. And so they weren't really getting their bang for their buck out of what they were doing. So it's a good opportunity to set up a company now, where we could an launch pandemic. So that was quite an interesting challenge with getting this all going. But, you know, I had a client base I could bring across, and I teamed up with a marketing friend, and so the creative agency was born. So that's how we got into this. And I think really video has become really the hot sauce now, especially through the pandemic. It's really brought that to the highlight, brought to us. We're doing so much either live streaming or you know, video calls, video presentations and all this kind of thing. So I think the value is increased greatly. You know, people can see the importance of it a lot more. So, you know, I've been looking at ways of you know, how to really help and encourage either my customers, but other business owners and other creative agencies on how to use video and how to be more confident with video and how to produce video. And also, you know, how to market it in the best way.
Yeah, and I suppose that actually leads in beautifully to the topic of the conversation, because I think that, you know, what you've hit on there specifically around the pandemic and video becoming a bigger part of things. So that's actually very much how our community got going, and specifically the video element, and that's obviously how we met. Got going was through the pandemic. You know, we sort of, the community came about, obviously Globotal, we help digital agencies with resources, and we're a resource partner, but we really saw an opportunity for the community in a way that we could start adding value to the digital agencies that we support and sort of our clientele. And one of the ways that was a no-brainer immediately was video, because we're obviously based in South Africa, and a good portion of the agencies that we support and we're trying to grow into is in the UK. So we started pretty much immediately getting going on that video piece by interviewing a lot of UK agencies, or not necessarily just agencies, but agency coaches, because that helps, that adds a lot more value when you've got somebody who's in the business of helping agencies run better businesses like we are, we started having a lot of video conversations with them. And as I think you've alluded to as well, is a lot of people aren't really, it's not really in their comfort zone. So we sort of had to kind of pry them out and get them a bit more comfortable with doing it. But also, I think what was, and this is obviously where your comment about, hey guys, you know, your gear and your setup is not really great. What you guys should really make a bit more effort about that. What went against what a lot of the conversations we were having with very many professionals in the industry, maybe not in the video industry, but in the marketing industry, around the real key message that we were getting from people and that was being shared in our community was, hey, doesn't matter what your setup is. It doesn't matter what your gear looks like, what your lighting looks like. Of course, make the best effort you can, but what's more important is that you get out there and you just start recording, whether it's for you and your own agency or for you start encouraging your own clients in this world of COVID and a pandemic and reaching out to agencies, to clientele or to potential audiences. What's more important is getting the video out there, getting the message out there, start telling your story, start getting your narrative told, sharing your brand, and nurturing, using video very much as a nurturing touch point. You obviously, with what you say, your perspective, and I'm sure you know the background there that says a lot about where you're from, is different. You feel differently about that. So you know, have at it. What is your message?
Well, yeah, I mean, for a start, you know, the thing I love about you, Stephen, is that you really totally get it. You really embrace video, and you know, you're building up these communities around that. You know, you really understand building your audience, or target, you know, knowing who your audience is, what they want to hear and learn about, and you're building a community, you know, and this is a massive, you know, but you know, we talked about the age of, you know, information age, you know, and really we need the age of wisdom, you know, so we need to be thoughtful about the content we put out there, that it really brings value to the viewer, the listener. And I think, you know, rather than just churning stuff out, you know, it's like, what is the viewer really gaining from what we're putting out there? So I think the quality of what we're doing is really important, rather than just churning stuff out, as you're doing, you know. So I think that's amazing. But I suppose, yes, my background's so visual. Yeah. I'm like, well, how can we do this better? I'm always looking to, like, how can we do this better? And I think, you know, after we've spent so much time in the pandemic, at first it's like, yeah, let's just communicate. And you know, after a while it's like, well, yeah, okay, but can we do this better? And so I think, you know, I think people have sort of lent on that too much, of like, yeah, it's all a bit tough at the moment, we're all locked down and it is what it is. And actually, well, you know, this is here to stay. This is the way, you know, we're communicating now. It's so much more a digital life. And we probably, you know, will go back to sort of face-to-face meetings, but I think we're going to really be doing this in the long term. So I think we've got to think about, well, how do we do this better? How do we improve this? And if our competitors are improving it and we're not, you know, how are we going to be perceived and how professional are we going to come across? So, you know, if we're in the marketing game, then we've got to market ourselves as well. So we need to be looking at ourselves as our personal brand and how we're communicating, so how we can do that better. And, you know, there's some simple tips and tricks you can do to
Well, I think I've lost you there.
it's a bit disappointing, you know. So I think us all as quite creative people, particularly in this community, you know, I think there's a lot we can address and we can do. So that's my sort of thought process behind that, you know. And so I do a lot of vlogs, you know, and it's about helping people with video marketing, and then also, you know, about their production and about their performance, you know. So I don't want to say these things so it puts people off. You know, I think, yes, get the camera, create content, you know, don't talk about it, do it. I think absolutely, and I don't want to, you know, discourage people in that way, but also, you know, how can we improve these things, you know? So I'm about to release another vlog today, and that's on personal branding and how you can communicate better. And that will be leading on to more, you know, how we do that through video and you know, on how we can produce these things better.
So just, I mean, quickly, you know, if that, I get your point, and I think it's a great message, you know, especially that idea of, as you say, we're sort of in it, and now's the time to sort of be thinking about how to improve it. What would your tips, your 2 or 3 tips? I mean, maybe from a gear perspective, what would your 2 or 3 essential things that an agency should invest in right away to make sure that they are maybe competing and improving that level, either for themselves and then potentially maybe even creating a new service offering to their clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just straight off the bat, you can do simple things like use a mic that's a USB plug and play mic. So you just increase audio quality. And I think, you know, a good webcam. So, you know, something like a Logitech with the 922s. These kind of things are HD, 1080p, and they're not that expensive. And just a decent video light, just you know, brighten up the room, brighten up your face, and it just helps, I think, the viewer, the listener, because you don't want them to be distracted by crackly noise, bad quality. You want them to be absorbed in the message. So that's the other thing, you know, so all that visual and audio just becomes natural and sinks into. They're not focused on that. They're focused on the message.
Yeah. Well, I think I've lost you. Are you there?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're back there. I think we should add to that list. Make sure
decent
you're
broadband.
yes.
Did I mention decent broadband?
Listen, that's a bit out of my head. Beautiful. That's really cool. I think, you know, if you wouldn't mind, I know that obviously we mentioned this goes live into the community. So if you wouldn't mind to maybe put your details down below as well. And maybe if you've got links to some of the gear that you were mentioning, if you're happy to put some links there so people can actually check out exactly which products you as a gearhead, I suppose, with that rig in the back that you've got there, that you would recommend that they can invest in. As you said, it's not a tremendous overhead cost, but it makes pays dividends in the production quality that you get out at the end.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll do a little follow-up vlog of it as well, of some tips on just easy setups as well, just to help people.
Yeah. No, that'll be great. I mean, as I say, now you're a member of the community, you can always just jump into share whatever you feel is worth sharing in the community. As you say, it's all about sharing value to people and sharing, helping agencies run better businesses. And I think this has been exactly that. So thanks very much for sharing. Yeah,
great. Lovely. Love to meet you.
Yeah, awesome. You too. And I'm sure we'll catch up in the community as well. And thanks very much, guys. For those who did stop by and check in, really great to have you. And we'll see you in the community. And as always, we're here to help agencies deliver, and that's what we're about. So, if you are looking for some help, or you're looking for some assistance, or anybody else who is looking for assistance, share the community with them, or just get in touch with us directly. We're always happy to start a conversation. As you've seen here, started from a YouTube comment, and here's Tim in the community sharing his knowledge. So whatever you guys have to share, we're always keen to hear, and we'll chat again soon.